Desk creaking again. I think that fixed it. Yeah, there was a big creak, and now it's working, so it's fine. Cool. The other thing, which I have not yet done today, tea supplies. Doing good, eating before the U4 event server. Forged pretty strong on Persia in that game. Well, in this game, the big news is Timurids have a player. So until now, Timurids have been AI. And Karakanulu's been saying, ooh, I could spread into Timurids, I could form Persia and all of that stuff. And then I was like, here, have a surprise Timmy. And it's Bussy, who is known to be quite a good EU4 player as well. So he's definitely spread the fear to a couple of the Eastern players who are otherwise feeling a little bit untouchable. Especially if they have alliances with the Ottomans, who are very strong at the moment. So, definitely shaking things up a little bit. I've been working on getting Bussy into the game for a while. He was very resistant, but at last I was like, here, you can play as Timmy, you can screw players over. I was like, okay, let's do this. So I'm quite happy to have that. Because the Ottomans were supposed to be countered by Hungary, which obviously doesn't exist. The Hungarian player signed up and then never showed up. And then the Mamelukes, who promptly sold all of their valuable provinces to Venice, and then stopped showing up as well. So the Ottomans are basically just being given a free check to expand, which is very unfortunate. And it's also Helsin, which is probably our strongest player. So the Ottomans are just being given absolutely everything that they could possibly want. So having a Timurids over here kind of looming over them, being a little bit angry. One of their goals is to take Constantinople, so there's definitely going to be a rivalry between those two. This looks like it could be fun to watch. Love watching your vids, Mordred. Thank you very much, Enterprise. I appreciate that. And it should be. Like, the Community Clash never fail to deliver. These are always really, really good fun. Okay, so anything else happening with the Reformation? Sweden is reforming really quickly, actually. That's quite impressive. Are they using missionaries with their zeal? I would hope so, because the early zeal bonus is absolutely massive. Gives you a plus 10 missionary strength and the ability to convert rather more quickly. France seemingly taking a little bit more of a slow process to do this. He was in some pretty bad financial straits from the end of the previous session. The previous substitute that he brought in was a little bit reckless with his economy. Like, I understand what he was doing. He was purposely going bankrupt so he could buy more buildings. So France will be fairly strong in 10 to 20 years, probably. But for the time being, France is rather weak, and we saw that last week when the other players took complete advantage of the fact that there was a bankrupt France and took a bunch of territories. So the mess down here, that was because of that. And also one of the minor Germanic nations' goals was to make sure that there were only Germanic powers and Bohemia in the North and South Germany regions. France was in those. France has been kicked out. So the minor Germans have once again achieved that goal. The other interesting news is Genoa has completely fled Italy. No real reason. I don't think he was under any pressure. He just didn't want to play in Italy, which is a shame because many of his goals are about the competition with Venice, which he's now going to be struggling to achieve. But he has decided to move over into the steppe, where he was a little bit concerned because we did have plans for a Great Horde initially player, then he didn't show. So we said, okay, we'll move you into Kazan, but he is again not shown. So I've just said, both of those completely open, go for it. Is Helsin ever not powerful? No. But to be fair, Helsin did say he wanted to play as the Papal States or somebody a lot smaller this time, and I said no. I want to have a strong Ottomans. I am fed up of the Ottomans being the laughing stock in these multiplayer games because I've never seen the Ottomans actually do very well. And also I had a couple of secret goals in mind for Helsin, specifically as the Ottomans. So he agreed to play as the Ottomans, and he has been doing an excellent job of putting the fear of valor into the Europeans. And one of his goals is to take Vienna. And he is only 2 provinces away from Vienna right now. So the other Europeans are probably going, he's already got 1 goal. He's already taken Cairo, thanks to a very weak Mamelukes. He could be well on the way to a 2nd goal. And of course, each nation needs to get 4 of their goals to win. So the Ottomans are well on the way. And in fact, let's take a look at the scores on the doors, because I believe that there are a couple of people who are on the scoring board now. So we have got Brandenburg with 1 point, because he did, of course, disassemble the HRE in that first session. Cologne has 1 point, because all of Germany is owned only by German nations. Then we've got the Ottomans with 1 point, because they have taken Cairo. Trier has 1 point, because a minor German nation has kicked everyone that's not German out. Venice has 1 point because they own Alexandria, because they bought it from the Mamelukes. And those are all the players with a score on the door at the moment. There are quite a few players with potential scoring opportunities from the Reformation. So the Reformation, I am expecting to kick off a couple of wars after this. Florence is currently taking Napoli. You are quite right with that. So this is Florence versus Naples and Ferrara. I actually somewhat suspect that his real intentions here are Ferrara. Oh no, Ferrara is Florence's vassal. Of course, Florence is actually a contiguous state here. This is a vassal. So is it just them versus Naples? It is. I wonder what they're waiting for. Not sure. Play a war, play a war. So we have the Ottomans fighting against Austria, and here it goes. The Ottomans are making their play for Vienna right now. So who are Austria allied to? Austria are allied to Bohemia and Castile. Bohemia's not here right now, which is a real blow for the Austrian alliance, and I thought they were allied to Brandenburg. Has Brandenburg cancelled their alliance? No, I think they were just working together as opposed to actually allied. And then the Ottomans are currently allied to Poland, Oman, Tunis, and Karakanulu. So this is definitely the Ottomans going for the Vienna objective. And then after this, what other objectives do the Ottomans have that they need to try to achieve? Otto, there you are. Own Vienna, own Cairo, ensure Egypt, Maghreb, and the Horn of Africa are fully Islamic, own Rome. That one's going to be, I think, more difficult. Then ensure that each of the Christian factions, Catholics versus Protestants / Reformed, have no more than one more great power than the other. I don't think... Oh, nope, we have a lot more players jumping in here as well. So we have Aragon jumping in the war against the Ottomans. And we have Calico jumping into the war against the Ottomans. We have the Ottomans obviously fighting. Castile are in the war against the Ottomans. And I suspect that Aragon must be a Castellan vassal. They're actually a Castellan march. Interesting. Definitely some player shenanigans going on with that one. So who's actually defending over here? So it's Austria, Aragon, Bohemia, Castile, Catalonia, France, Navarre, and Württemberg. So France clearly just got a very quick alliance with Austria there. The Ottomans and France were formerly allied, I believe. That alliance was not cancelled. No, that alliance was cancelled last session. Right. So part of the reason that France was so badly humbled by the German coalition was the Ottomans broke their alliance with the French. When the Sultan of the Ottomans was making his way to Vienna in real life, he bragged that he would be having breakfast inside the cathedral there. When his siege began to fail, the defender sent him a message: your breakfast is getting cold. The Austrians can be damn badass at times. Clearly, that's hilarious. Oh, that's brilliant. I like that. So the Ottomans are making good time. They've already taken Kärnten, which is a big problem for the Austrian side, because this is a mountain fort. And this is like one of the key fortifications for holding Austria ordinarily. And he's still got Tyrol, which could do much the same. Vienna, unfortunately, is farmland, so no real defensive bonuses from that. So we're probably going to see Austria falling here. I don't know about other players, though. Have Poland been called in? Poland haven't. And in fact, Poland would probably refuse this because Poland wants a strong Catholics faction. Oh no. Austria is actually Protestant, so Poland probably doesn't care. And then we have Castile coming in. Now, what are the fleets doing? There are 2 heavy ships versus 1. There are 4 galleys versus 13. So I don't think that this is going to be a very heavy naval game. 123,000 infantry versus 89. 24,000 cavalry against 16. 18,000 artillery against 10. We have a couple of Bohemians down. It's actually really annoying that Bohemia's not here today. Bohemia is kind of necessary for this war. Like, this has really screwed Europe, actually, the fact that Bohemia's not here. Good to see the Europeans responding to this big threat. Yeah, France, I think, is making the right call here. I am waiting to see if any of the rest of Europe rallies against the Ottomans, because this is a big opportunity that they have to do some damage. So we have the Ottomans coming in to attack the Bohemians in Constantinople. 4.5 morale versus 4.5. The Ottomans having 113 discipline to 100. It's only infantry and cavalry. The Bohemian army was actually slightly better balanced, but the Ottomans, because of their Janissaries, were able to send them packing. The Janissaries... Are these actual Janissaries? I'm not actually sure how the Janissaries work. I've never played into the Ottomans. It's a modifier, isn't it? I thought they had an actual Janissary unit, which they raised from the provinces. I know I ask this every single time. Conscript Janissaries, here we go. No, they're red units. Yeah, I thought as much. The Janissaries must be out here. None there. There they are. So Janissaries have fire damage received -10, shock damage received -10, army drill modifier plus 100%, but they cost double to reinforce. But they are pretty strong soldiers. They are here functioning as the front line. Bohemia has just pieced out. That's the AI begging out of that fight because they just lost their army effectively, which is really leaving Austria, France and Castile on the back foot here. Poland taking this opportunity of distraction to go after Transylvania, which was a portion of Hungary which split out from the remnants of the Hungarians. I'm very curious to see what is happening here. So we have the France and Castile starting to merge up. Castile will have their 15% morale modifier because they start with it. France, I think, has already got Elan. They do. Plus their manpower modifiers. A decent amount of manpower available at the moment. We have Württemberg throwing themselves at the Ottomans in Carentan, where they're getting a -2. Not the best resistance ever, and that is, in fact, a stack wipe. And then we have the Ottomans, who are currently owning Vienna. So what is the European coalition going to do against this? And are any of the Italians going to jump in? This would be a fantastic opportunity for a naval dominance against the Ottoman fleet, and they could do some real damage to Ottoman war exhaustion just by blockading. And they would be fairly resistant to Ottoman aggression and attacks. So we have the Ottomans currently moving into the Bohemian territory here in Lienz. Lienz being a mountain province. So it's a little bit unfortunate that the French aren't sitting there right now. The Ottomans will get the advantage of having Lienz. And this is going to be starting to put some war exhaustion pressure on the Austrians. Which is more important, discipline or morale? I would say early on probably morale, but later on discipline. And really out of discipline and combat ability, I would say combat ability, because that is not inherited by rebels. It's been a minute since I trusted the Ottomans, but the more Janissaries they recruit can cause problems for them down the line. I think that's how it used to be, but I don't know if that still works that way anymore. Poland being allied to the Ottomans is a bit dirty. Well, Poland actually has very few, if any, overlapping reasons to go toward the Ottomans, with the exception of if Poland was the defender of the Catholic faith, then they might. But Austria is Protestant, so Poland's just like, whatever, have fun. No, I don't care about Vienna. I mean, the only thing that they would now have a cause for contention is if the Ottomans take Vienna, the Ottomans are now winning because they'll have 2 goals. The Polish-Turk alliance is quite scary. Yeah, I would agree with that. It kind of is. Still no one else coming in. Yeah, this is the Ottoman conquest of Graz, and their goal is to take Graz, which they have already done. And they can get another 20% from that. Currently, a little bit of a stalemate going on. The Austrians do have a fleet currently blockading Gors here. That was from a peace deal, so I think that they're probably already trying to demand Vienna, and the Austrians are like, no. If Italy or Venice got involved, maybe some backdoor naval landings. Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think that Venice would probably have more to gain from this, especially if they did it as a trade war. Oh, we have the Ottomans charging into Tyrol right now. So let's go and click on the Austrian side. We have Castile being quick to respond. Nothing yet from the French. French starting to come in. Ottomans are not yet locked, so this is going to be 60,000 against 25,000 against 40,000. Castile also moving in. France now starting to respond. They are now locked in. So the Ottomans cannot back out. This is going to be a battle in Tyrol. This is going to be a -2 because it's in the mountains and they are defending the mountain fort. I do wonder if these guys are going to start waking up. And here we go. 113 discipline versus 110. 4.6 morale versus 3.9. The French actually having rather less morale there than I expected. Here we go, getting a little bit more. 4.2. That's because Castile has come in to bolster them somewhat. We still have some more French moving in. We don't have the extra 13,000 waking up. They're definitely taking their time bring them in. This is a fairly constrained, fairly narrow battle, so waiting with a couple of troops can be a good idea because they are not taking morale damage. Because everyone not in the battle yet does take a portion of the morale damage, so they will arrive a little bit damaged. It does look like the Ottomans currently having the worst of this damage right now. 54,000 against 61,000, another 13 on the way, and the Ottomans have begged out and backed off. So that round went to the French, and it was a 1.66 score from that fight. Unfortunately, Bohemia basically just gave away free war score. And Bohemia, being a defensive AI player here, had to accept a white peace with the Ottomans, or rather the Ottomans had to offer a white peace, which kind of plays in the Ottoman favour because they want to get rid of Bohemia because they just bring in a lot of troops. So Bohemia, where are you? The battle for Tyrol is now one for the history books. Yeah, that is where the Ottoman expansion was stopped for a time. Although I am now noticing that Poland has turned hostile. So I think that Poland has been called in, as have Genoa, on the side of the Ottomans against the European coalition. So how are the Europeans going to see this betrayal by the former European Genoese power? And of course Poland. Like Poland, that's a real betrayal of the Europeans. And also other players may see this as helping the Ottomans get their goal completed. How are Brandenburg going to feel about this? How is Sweden going to feel about this? And Fizbiscus is no longer in sync. Whoops. So I think that means a rehost. Because I don't think there's a resync option in this like in Hearts of Iron. Yeah, there are definitely a couple of players that could really go against Poland here. Like, Muscovy could, Timurids could, Tunis potentially, Papal State, Florence definitely. Yeah, he just needs to hot join in again, so we'll keep it paused and let him do that. Being one of the nations at war, I think that's reasonable. Hey, Fred. Poland is currently sieging down Transylvania, yes. So it's Poland. Oh, we've unpaused. I think because this is a warring state, we'll pause it here. Let me just go and talk to Helson. Where is he? There he is. Hello.
Hello.
I decided to pause it if Fizbiscuits is going to hot join, seeing as he's in the war now.
I think we need to rehost.
Yeah, he didn't actually drop.
Yeah, but here's the thing: he's gonna drop in like a month.
Yeah,
I'm like he's.
Yeah, I'm backing out. I'm backing out, and I'm gonna jump back in. So.
All right.
Yeah, so when you hot join in, we'll unpause at that point. I think it's fair because we're in the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
The war in the game immediately went like, hey.
So, interesting fight here. France, Castile, and Austria versus the Ottomans and Poland. How's Europe going to feel about this in Poland?
I was about to join the Ottomans.
I should have waited a second to join.
That would have actually been a good idea.
Yeah.
I can fix that.
Kick me out of the war and then...
And yeah, definitely in Ottoman's favour that Bohemia is not here today.
Yeah.
No, their army got crushed.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got...
but I don't think if it had been a player, they would have been caught in Constantinople of all places.
They were on vacation in Constantinople.
I hear it's nice this time of year.
What's the point?
Wow, Calico, you are super quiet. Let me just turn you up.
That's because he's... Bye-bye, Austria.
I'm not.
Oh wait, you pieced out.
Yeah, because why is Muscovy joining?
Well, that's because Muscovy joined me as well.
Did you piece out after we saved the game?
Come on.
Or are we having a hot
Muscovy
join?
joined as well. I don't see how this benefits.
Okay.
I'm going to return to commentator both. Alright, so, we'll let them talk out their differences without our intervention. I think I've stirred this pot enough by bringing in the Timurids this session. Brandenburg most likely would like to steal Polish land. Well, Brandenburg weirdly has already got all of the territories he wants, and Poland has done nothing to stop this. Both Sweden and Poland, I would say, would have, and possibly Denmark, would have reasons to not let Brandenburg form Prussia, but nothing has been done about this as yet. So a little bit of a surprise there. Bohemia and Austria seem to be pretty chummy with Brandenburg, so probably want to see a Prussia to defend Germany. Although from the things that we've seen from Brandenburg so far, he seems perfectly content to backstab the whole of Germany, so I'm not entirely sure that I would be entirely trusting of that. And apparently Muscovy has joined the war on the Ottoman side. So the Unholy Alliance has been a thing. Hey, Charles.